Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, your favorite leftist gaming podcast. We are waiting to see if Matt's computer freezes right as we start, as we love to do. It's the running gag of the show is when does Matt freeze and drop out, and can I edit around it, or can I be bothered to do it? And since today is kind of our most relaxed episode of the month, this is our second go at this style of episode, I'm more willing to just kind of let shit fall where it may, you know? Throw shit against the wall, see what sticks. But yeah, we are here it's not really the middle of the month. We're a little bit past that because our schedule got a little bit tweaked because of the fourth holiday and our in-person get-together. And
the way it always works is because there's generally about 4 weekends a month. You're never going to be in the middle. You'll always be kind of bridging either side of it.
Yeah, so this is the best we can accomplish with our middle of the month. And so we just kind of taking things at a more relaxed pace and just talking about what we're playing, what we're excited to play that's upcoming. We did this once in July, June. This is July, in June, and I had to go back and look to see, okay, when did that episode drop? What did I talk about last time? Because, time is a flat circle. I can't recall what I ate for breakfast, let alone what video game I played a month ago.
With jalapeno cream cheese.
I actually had farm sausage and a couple eggs, so it was a pretty good breakfast, actually. But I honestly, I think I was just largely talking about Nightreign and Mario Kart in that one, and we're like kind of doing it to kind of set up for the Switch video that Matt and I did. Folks, you can go check that out on YouTube. But that just kind of leads me to the first thing. So, Matt, I know that you and Andrew and Andrew's on vacation right now, so will not be joining us this week.
He's watching golf in the islands of Ireland.
Yeah, is he in Ireland? Yeah, I didn't know he was watching golf. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if he's currently doing that. I don't honestly know what fucking time
According
it is there.
to his wife's Instagram story, they are absolutely doing that right now.
Yeah, but I don't know if they posted when they were,
I mean, judging by the time gap, could be hard.
Yeah, I can't do that math.
Also, golf lasts a long time, so
True.
Who knows?
Plus, it's Ireland, so who knows if they get God's light for more than...
Are they at, like, St. Andrews or something? Like, the golf course?
I believe they may be. Whatever is going on today, there's like...
I told him he's not going to be allowed back in the country. He's going to go to try to re-enter, and they're going to plant a J.D. Vance meme on his phone and send him to Algeria.
Man, would he thrive in Algeria? I don't know. Maybe, probably not. He's too pasty. He's too pasty for the equator living.
No, it's the Royal Portrush Golf Club in Northern Ireland.
Okay, he's in the good. Is that the good part of Ireland? I don't remember. I don't
part of Ireland.
I don't keep track of the bog people.
Yeah. The north is always the good there, I believe.
Except for Italy, right?
No, I'm talking about Ireland. Yeah, north of Italy, they're
the best people.
All right, so. You two have been playing a bunch of Nightreign.
We tend to play at least one run, like a weeknight, and then maybe a couple during the weekends of some.
I have definitely kind of, in pretty much every manner, I have moved on from Nightreign. I got the platinum. I was fighting most of the Everdark bosses. I did miss the Sentient Pest one, and maybe I'll go back for a couple of the other ones. So my main question to you is, like, what's keeping you active in playing and see how... Because you would normally be, looking outside of, this is a FromSoft game, a multiplayer roguelike type game, you would be in my kind of, in a vacuum, I would say you would be the one who would fall off first, more likely. So I'm really interested to know what is it that is keeping you kind of really focused and interested when, say, I have already moved on.
He may have froze. I think he froze.
He did,
it did exactly
as I predicted.
Exactly how you predicted.
Right when I asked him the question.
Yep.
I knew it.
Put it out there. Go play the lotto.
Jesus Christ.
God damn.
Fuck me.
I was like, is he joking again? And then and then he fully just cut out now. But I was like, is he joking? Nope, I don't see any breathing happening.
Yeah,
I don't know the man can't hold his breath.
I don't know if it's a full crash or just a riverside crash, because if it's a riverside crash, he'll just be in pretty quick. He just usually closes and comes back in. But all right, so of course, I'm probably going to have to repeat myself when he comes in, but I can at least say about why I have kind of stopped playing and moved on. And that I really enjoyed the game, and, you know, I was the first of the three of us that played to get the platinum, which in my mind was always like, okay, what else is there to do? And then they started introducing these kind of new amped up versions of the bosses. So yeah, that was something to kind of go back and do. And I had a couple of the character quests to finish, which was a bit odd to me that they didn't tie character quests to the platinum. That would have seemed right, like, you know, clear as day. I like give you a trophy when you finish each character's, but no, it's not. It's kind of strange.
Interesting. I wonder if Matt has some insight on that when he comes back.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. That seems like a clear-cut trophy pattern to me. It's like, yo, you finished each character's quest. Here you get, not only do you get the little, you know, special remembrance skin and you get the special relics and stuff, but here, you pop a trophy too.
Yeah, if you're getting all that shit with killing the, you know, those bosses, like, you would think that, like, that, because that's a substantial feat, you know, to be doing in the game.
You do get trophies for killing the bosses. You do get a trophy for first time you kill each boss.
But for this, now he's Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I have to join through Edge, I guess, because Chrome seems to not like to recognize any of my peripherals once I come back.
Dude, how insidious is that of Microsoft? They have to hamstring Chrome just to get you to
use
you to
Edge.
be able to not completely delete Edge from your operating system.
It comes back. It's a virus.
Malware. Yeah, it's malware.
That and the Xbox thing.
Yeah, they always repin themselves to my taskbar.
Always. It is the most frustrating thing in the world.
Well, I don't have Edge. I leave the Microsoft one, even though I don't use it anymore, or the Xbox one. Sorry. See how their shitty marketing has even wormed its way into my head? It's not Xbox anymore. It's just Microsoft. It's Microsoft Gaming. But I was we were starting to just talk a little bit more about Nightreign when you dipped out. Did you hear any of my question at all before
you were asking why I keep playing?
What it is that keeps you coming back? When for me it was like I got the platinum. Yes, they did keep releasing the more difficult bosses, and I did a bunch of them, but it's not enough to keep me playing regularly. And I can talk about why that is, but I'm more interested in what is keeping you, usually the multiplayer skeptic, from being at it.
I mean, it falls into the one run is kind of a perfect weeknight game for me, because I can play it for 45 minutes, be done by 8 o'clock, and then be pretty much ready to go to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
That's compelling. That's definitely compelling. Yeah. And speaks to, I think, a larger trend of why kind of multiplayer session games are popular with maybe a more casual audience, if I want to use the pejorative.
I mean, honestly, that's a good point. Like, you know, when we were able to be playing, especially like group play of Helldivers, like, you know, I could dip in for an hour and like do other things, or like after work on a weekday, like it's a quicker entry point, and it has kind of like a finite ending to it.
A mission-based structure is kind of helpful for that, in that it's clear, it's, you know, got the clear kind of end state, a convenient time to time to put the controller down.
Same with Monster Hunter as well. When, you know, we were doing that, it's like, you know, you do 3 missions, 3 quests, you know, kill 3 monsters, whatever, and then you could dip out, and you know, you don't have that feeling of like needing to play more with the open-ended story of, you know, like a regular RPG or you know, other first, you know, solo game like that.
Plus, there's another aspect to it where, although I already have the platinum, I've beaten every boss. I've essentially beaten every boss with every character I care about. I still haven't unlocked every skin, so still need to unlock every skin. I've done all the endgame skins. I finished all the remembrances, so now I'm just working on the Dawn and the Dark skins for every character. But the real thing that brings me back every time is, it's especially good in duos with Andrew, is the absolute random nature of who the third teammate is. And I do actually kind of enjoy the up and down side of, oh, we got a dogshit executor who ran off immediately at level 1, didn't do anything with the team, ran straight over to his remembrance quest, died 7 times, and then we went and finished it for him because he couldn't beat the Bloodhound Knight, compared to the dichotomy of a game where we have a Revenant player who is like in our heads just pinning everything that we're going to pin ahead of us, you know, tic-tacking across the map. It was one of the most beautifully efficient map transits that we've ever done, where it was essentially like the perfect outer rim into the center every time on both nights. And it was a pure glass cannon game. It was a Revenant, and I was playing Iron Eye, and Andrew was on Duchess, and we absolutely destroyed Everdark Fulgur.
Has Andrew got the platinum yet? Is he
No,
still
he's
working on that?
missing the Sentient Pest Invasion and the have all the purple items.
That was, I don't understand why that he's having so much trouble with that one, because that one was super easy for me. Like, you guys shared one thing with me and before the end boss, and popped it, gave it back, and was good to go. I guess you just got to do one run where you're not optimizing anything you're taking and just taking the rarest thing you can find.
You also should probably, at the very least, have one, maybe two Iron Eyes in your group, because the Iron Eye passive...
Item discovery,
it's massive.
Yeah.
But, like, I just enjoy the game-to-game, because, like, I had a game I think it was earlier this week, or it might have been late last week, on Wilder, where pulled a Moraes Executioner sword at the first half of night 1, which meant that everything I killed was increasing my damage, and by the time we got to Everdark Fulgur, I think I had 850 base damage on my weapon.
Just chunking it.
I was just absolutely destroying him with every hit.
That starts as a legendary, doesn't it?
Yes.
Where did you get that drop that early?
Field boss.
Wow. I guess the endless do happen.
I think it was what's it called? An Erdtree avatar.
Except when you get the legendary drop and it's the fucking Lion's Great Bow. It was just like, kill
Andrew
myself.
had a great one in the Rotted Woods where we absolutely shredded whichever boss it was, and they died halfway up a tree. And he was all pissed. He's like, I can't get the reward. And I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. It was just a purple for me. And he was like, it was a gold for me, and I wanted to see what it was. It's like, it was probably Bastard Stars or something useless.
Yeah. So it's interesting that that's been your experience, and I'm willing to selfishly take some responsibility for giving you this this possibility by not continuing to play, giving you this kind of randomness. Because for me, by keeping the play or keeping up with it was having diminishing returns for me, because I felt like I had just seen everything. That runs were just getting too repetitive and too samey. And my major critique of the game is in its roguelike elements, and that it's just not random enough, that camps literally just shift slightly and things are just too static, and the progression meta of how to get ideally strong enough is just the same thing over and over again. So it was just a little too routine for me. But so you're getting that kind of randomness by how dog shit the other person is, and how much you have to carry.
The random nature of your teammate adds to it, and I've been thinking about it because there was talk recently, because they're still working on the duo update. And I actually think the duo update is a mistake now. I think the duo update further splits your queues and takes it so that people will have longer queues overall, but I think it just takes away from how the game works. Because like me and Andrew have had games where we had a guy who left 30 seconds into the game. His mom probably told him to get off PlayStation for the night. So we just duoed. Yeah, we beat the boss. We won all 3 nights. But it's one of those where there's so much to the game where being duoed just doesn't work. Like there's a lot of Everjail fights when you get like the 3 banished knights, which is kind of a pain in the ass if you don't have 3 people to help split up or like burst down one of them. There's a lot of different group encounters that don't work very well with just 2 people or soloed. And obviously they scale the damage up and down to help with that, but still,
I think it would have been helpful if it was the case if it was available at launch, that when everybody, no matter if you were queuing with people you knew or with randoms, nobody knew what to do. So the kind of wildness, the randomness that you talk about of having that extra person that is completely uncontrollable adds that kind of continued spice to the mix, as you have now become an expert in the game's language.
There's something to be said about, at a certain point, yes, it's good to follow your team and run around, but if you see you have a good team it's never a bad thing to potentially split up and do some of the easier shit solo in your triple, because now you're spreading out your rune gain quicker. So I'm up here doing this fort to go get a stone sword key. Andrew's dying in a camp because that's how he dies so frequently. Our random
because he full
is,
sends.
and Andrew has
He
a
has,
tendency
he has
to
zero.
forget.
He has zero environmental awareness, so he'll just get ganked. That's his
Right.
favorite thing to do.
I just sit and think, like, I enjoy the boss fights enough, and it's one of those where it kind of gives you sort of like a boss rush feel, where you can go through and you can get a bunch of those fights over and over again. Yeah, you'll occasionally pull a map where you'll just get unlucky, and your first ever jail will be a Deathrite bird, and then you'll run away from that because you're, level 2, and then, the next ever jail you're near happens to be the one with a field boss, and it happens to be Bell-bearing Hunter, who's lore walking towards you, as you're trying to, like, burst down this enemy really fast. And then, of course, Circle closes in a completely unoptimal area. That's just how it goes sometimes. But I'm looking forward to the next round of Everdark pulls. I think I told Andrew my money is the fact that, statistically speaking, Libra is the hardest overall boss outside of Holster. Me and him have really good luck. I think we're like 3-1 against Libra. My money is on Everdark Gladius ending up being the hardest Everdark that they drop, because they're going to just overtune the shit out of him.
There's gonna the aggro you pull when they split up into 3 is going to be insane. There's going to be, each one is going to focus on an individual player, and just you're going to get no breaks.
Oh no, it's going to be split into 3, and then they're going to split into 3, and then Libra is going to be riding them.
No, I think you're onto something there. That the first boss, the opening, the easiest boss, then becomes the hardest. I would.
Because that would be how you subvert expectations. Because like Sentient Pest, which is a mildly more difficult fight than you would expect just based on the way that it mechanically works. Probably the easiest Everdark fight they've done. Fulgur is probably the most...
Don't be speaking ill on my boy Fartus.
Yes, Fartus Stone Shield.
Fartus is his name.
Incredible.
Like, Fulgur is clearly the most cinematic and probably my favorite fight to do in the game. Andrew has to be the one to talk me out of just being, no, let's run Everdark Fulgur again. I want to...
I found Everdark Fulgur to be easier than the base level, but that's probably just because we got so much more. We were just so familiar with the fight.
Well, his third phase is a lot more readable. He's got a human body, so you can kind of follow what his attacks are doing.
Yeah.
He also doesn't spam AoEs in third phase like he does.
I'm excited. I would be excited for the Caligo fight, the big ice dragon.
Yes, that's probably my favorite fight in the game, just from a...
In terms of, actual, cinematic quality,
Yeah.
It is visually, the audio is incredible. Probably the best music in the entire
Best arena,
soundtrack.
too.
Like, when you look around, it's just a big fucking dragon eye
Yeah.
looking at you.
That was the first boss that me and Andrew duo killed together. And that's because we had a raider who quit on night 2. We had the mountaintop, so we went through and we got, the dragon boost, we got the frostbite boost. I think I had like 4 or 5 stacks of frostbite / all resistances up. So we did the entire fight, and I never had a frostbite proc. And I was just playing Wilder, standing there under his feet, just charged heavies the whole time with a flaming sword.
So I don't know that. I don't exactly know what might bring me back.
DLC. It's going to be new Nightfarers, new Night Lords, maybe a new map, some new Shifting Earth events.
Really, the one that I think will really bring me back is a new map. It's just, it lost the excitement factor when I just kind of knew the best path to take, and things were just too simple. So we've already talked about that. We don't need to go into our ideas of how they might
It's one of those,
regions.
Me and Andrew have had games where we don't even touch Castle, and we've looked and been like, oh, cool, it's Crucible Knights, but we have too much other shit on the outside rings that we're doing to bother going in there, and then the circles don't close in an optimal way to get Castle. So, like, we've had a game with Rotted Woods where we essentially just touched the entire outside rim of the map and never went into middle. And we still hit level 15, because Rotted Woods is the greatest Shifting Earth event for pure rune gain.
There's a bunch of bosses there.
Ruins.
One of the games that I played after finishing my time with Nightreign was Code Vein anime Dark Souls. I went from a unique spin on the classic Souls formula to kind of cheap imitation of it, I'm going to be honest. And another interesting game because it also has multiplayer potential in that the game is tuned for either playing with like an AI companion based off of one of the NPCs.
It's built around from the ground up 2 players.
Yeah, or playing with a real person. And since I never engaged with it, I don't know if it's like, I assume the co-op is more seamless than something as convoluted as vanilla Elden Ring and Dark Souls shit where you can only like summon for bosses and stuff like that. But
no, they're like any way that your AI companion is there, a player would be there instead. So they'd be running through the full level with you.
Yeah, I don't know what would happen when you go back to the hub. That would be an interesting one. It's just like the game was good enough for me to be interested in what they're doing for the sequel, and like if somebody else ended up playing it, I would be willing to go in with my end game character with her big fucking gigantic sword with help you out through the game and through multiplayer. But it's made me appreciate other better Souls-likes for sure, and like I'm interested in.
It was a Souls-like clone from, I think it was 2017 when it released, when the Souls-like clones were a little fewer and farther between and a little more generic. The Souls-like clone renaissance was like 2020-ish,
right,
when all of a sudden every company decided that's how they were going to make an action RPG.
But do they have giant anime booba, is the question.
I was going to say, I mean, the appeal of Code Vein is, I don't know her name, but she has white hair and...
Yeah, it's one of your, I think her name is Io. Yeah, she's got enormous milkers. It's
they
absurd.
definitely jiggle naturally.
Yeah, definitely not in obscene ways, but yeah, it was a Gooner game.
Jiggle physics have come a long way.
Yeah, it was a Gooner game before Gooner games were a thing. That's for sure. And like I made my character just into a giant anime woman with a even more giant sword, and there are these segments, a huge part of the game that's really fucking annoying is like these memory segments. Some are fully plot related that you have to engage with. Others are how you can level up stats, but the main thing is you can basically swap between classes at any time through this. It's called like a blood code, and you can inherit abilities that can carry over across them, but the different ones will then scale with different stats. So then obviously, if you are putting your stats in strength, if you then put on like a dex blood code, you're not going to be doing as well as you could if you had put your stats in dex. So obviously scaling isn't always going to make up for that. So there is back and forth, but there is variety, and the incentive is to do that, to inherit a particular skill, then go back to your main thing.
But I feel like in, a lower level character where, you don't have that many points spread out regardless, that to beat a boss where, you're better off being dex than strength,
You could
There's
be
no
a
such
sicko
thing
like
as beating a boss being better with dex.
you could just be a sicko like Matt and have an even distribution of stats across every single.
It's called a quality build. You should try it sometime.
Yeah. No thanks. But yeah, I just went big bonk. But so in order to like unlock those different blood codes, some will be given to you during the plot. And then others, you find little fragments of them throughout level exploration. And then by reliving the memories tied to them, you unlock even more skills of that code. And oh my god, those memory sequences made me want to commit violence. You are locked to this absolutely glacial walking speed as you go through these kind of shadowy segments, as they just kind of like still shots of these NPCs' backstories, and that I just could not bring myself to care about. And you're just trudging along, and it just brings the game to a fucking standstill. So the only thing I could do is I would walk as fast as it would let me to the end of the stage while the characters give their little spiel, and then the next bit unlocks and I can move forward again. But as I'm doing this, I'm just like spinning the camera, admiring my creation of anime waifu, and that's it. That was
Well, I mean, you got to do that. That's a
Character creator is supposed to be one of the most in-depth parts of the game.
Yeah, except I would say the clothing options kind of sucked. Like there's like maybe like 6. You could then customize each set. Like you could remove some like accessories and stuff, but those weren't the best. But the actual character creator, was pretty good, pretty robust, particularly for an 8-year-old game at this point. So again, it was good enough for me to want to play the next one, to see what the next one does.
I do have to remind you that 2017 is to now as 2009 was to when that game came out.
So, thinking about it in those terms, it was pretty good. It was pretty good, and I liked it. And I like swinging around big hammer and big sword, so that was cool. But
I mean, we're approaching the year of the Souls-like sequels, because we have Code Vein 2, we've got Mortal Shell 2. It's not a sequel. Duskblood's a theoretical another From Software game coming out on top of that.
Do people like even... Where would you rank the original Mortal Shell with Code Vein from what you know about?
Mortal Shell is considerably shorter. It's a much shorter game. It's probably closer to the 10 to 15 hour mark.
Code Vein was like... I didn't play the DLC, but the Code Vein was like 25 hours?
Yeah, Code Vein should somewhere fall around 20 to 30.
Yeah,
Mortal Shell's much shorter.
I wouldn't have called it a long game.
It's got its own gimmick to it with the hardening mechanic.
I was getting some hardening playing Code Vein, that's for sure. But like the level design in the game was just not great, and that's just one thing I've been been hypercritical of lately. Has been level design. I just played War for the podcast, and I can't talk much about it because I'm obviously going to save it for next time. But the levels were a mix of both really good and really kind of tightly designed linear levels, and then just stuff that's just like super dated. Like, it's a remake of a dated game when you're on a mining cart doing shooting away obstacles in your way, and enemies are on other tracks shooting at you, and you've got unlimited ammo, and you got to try to shoot them as you go. And so it's just like, it was this mix of like, it was a return to something that I had missed, in that these like really kind of tightly designed linear levels to stuff that's just like, yeah, maybe it's best to leave in the past. But that's all I can say about that one. Matt, speaking of level design, how have the levels been so far for your game of the summer, game of the year? You've barely played more than probably 5 hours. Donkey Kong Bananza. The levels themselves seem to be the draw, and the whole mechanic behind how levels are designed. What's your take?
I'm on my 6th major sublayer. There are 17 total major sublayers.
Wow, that's actually more progress than I would have expected.
Well, usually with these types of games, I tend to progress the story to a point and then go back once I've unlocked some more powers, or this has like a skill tree progression, which helps with some of your like destructive capability, and then go back to the previous levels and search through for the things that I missed.
You do know that like when you leave a level and come back, it resets, right? Like all the destruction resets. That would
I wouldn't expect it to maintain it.
That would be so much memory space being used. Oh my god.
No, but each major sublayer is actually like pretty beautiful. The first major sublayer they drop you into being the Lagoon sublayer, always a good way to like entice you as a player, draw you in, give you the pretty water level.
The Blue Lagoon.
But I've been having a blast so far, working my way through.
He's been up late at night, donking his Kong until he goes Bonanza.
I mean, not true legitimately at all, actually. I didn't play at all last night. I think I played about 4.5-ish hours during the day yesterday, and then about another hour and a half today before recording, which is why I'm eating lunch now, because I went over when I thought I would to eat lunch before. But like so far, I think I've done 3 major boss fights, each one nothing complicated, nothing difficult. This is a child's game. It's not meant to be challenging or push you like emotionally or physically as a player, but like each one had a cool mechanic to go through to get you to the next point. I just unlocked the ostrich Bonanza, so now I have the Kong and the ostrich.
Dude,
So
the Super Saiyan Bonanza, he literally just has his cheeks out. He's doing the caked up Broly meme, but in a kid's game. Just got his ass hanging in the breeze.
It's what happens when you're a monkey. You get to do that.
He's an ape, sir.
Ape.
It's your
you're
favorite
right.
thing to do is to eat banana and play with yourself.
Throw your doo-doo.
My dad,
Like it's such a
Dad would tell me stories about like when he was like doing lab work in the early part of his career as a biochemist, that like they had ape subjects for certain medical trials, and say that that's literally what they love to do the most was masturbate.
Guys.
They are evil, twisted guys who just jerk off and make you watch.
Not gorillas, but chimpanzees, yes.
Yeah, no, these were were chimps.
Yeah, we got to clarify. We were saying apes, and we
Yeah.
can't lump them all together. That would
No.
not be fair to them as guys.
Well, this big ape, how does he handle the play? Like, I've seen some people like doing some crazy things to try to like break levels and like do.
I've absolutely inadvertently broken level progression based on like using the double jump mechanic or climbing on things, or like double jumping up to something I'm not supposed to be able to climb and then quickly jumping to something else, destroying my way through the ground to get to a place I'm like down below. The way I would describe it, so Mario Odyssey had a dearth of moons where the idea would be like, oh wow, I'm breaking the game. Wow, they put a moon there. That's fantastic. They expected me to do that. They do that in this game, but like up another level, where all of a sudden you're like, wow, I didn't know I could get down here. Oh shit, look, there's a banana. Oh look, there's fossils. And the fossils are the collectibles you get to trade in for costumes. And the costumes, unlike an Odyssey, the costumes have mechanical bonuses to them. Move 20% faster in mud, or swim 20% faster, or 100% Bonanza gain from your gold, or Pauline's outfits can do things like extend your Bonanza by 80%.
How long into the game does it take for your rock friend to turn into to hatch into Pauline?
Probably about, depends, because like I didn't bum rush my way there. I probably spent my first hour in the tutorial level just destroying everything, but probably 2 to 3 hours. It's when you get your first Kong Bananza.
Okay, 'cause she's how you transform, right?
Yeah.
She sings a song and you go Bonanza.
And it's great because they set it up where you're like, oh, she's going to sing some beautiful song, because like that's how when you play in the game, you hold down the left bumper and she sings, and it can help you guide your way, show you where you're supposed to go. But then she grabs the microphone and just starts doing the DK rap.
He's appropriating. Get her white ass.
Get her.
Is one of her cosmetics. Give her white lady dreadlocks.
So far, she gets in the lagoon area, she gets like a life vest, jean short, straw hat, Luffy hat.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Base.
You have my attention.
That might play the game now.
Yeah, you have my attention.
In the forest area, she gets a like Nigel Thornberry explorer outfit.
The colonizer hat.
Yeah.
The colonizer hard hat. Yeah.
Yeah. But
so that's like the main thing I wanted to like ask you, and to like to try to be as to remove yourself from your own subjective opinions, and to try to think in terms of what you know about me and what games I like and what I don't like. And
I mean, you wouldn't like the game.
You say, do you think I would like this game or not?
No, it's Mario Odyssey squared.
Is there enough Breath of the Wild in this to make me forget about
It's more Tears of the Kingdom than Breath of the Wild.
Okay, the distinction there is largely semantic to me, but
It's
I get what you mean. I get what you mean, but like
there's a fairly like what I would describe. So there are major sublayers, the 17, and they change the different level layouts every time. But each major sublayer has their own individual sublayers that you dive through. So if you start on, say, Lagoon sublayer, which is 200, and then you go to sublayer 201, which is the first lower level of the lagoon, when you dive through that hole, you're not jumping into a loading screen. You're just jumping straight to the next level like you'd be diving into the depths in Tears of the Kingdom. And then the game is just there. There's no like visual real load in between. The only time you ever hit a load when you jump into a tunnel is when you change
load.
major sublayers from, say, 206 to 300 or 307 to 400.
In terms of like the creativity involved with problem solving, would that outweigh my distaste for just the kind of pointless collecting, just the collectathon elements of it?
I mean, I wouldn't call any of the collecting pointless. Like, feels
How
like
dare
all of the...
you. How
Again,
dare you.
think in
As
terms.
Ben.
Think
Well,
as me, not as yourself.
You have to look at it from this way. In Mario Odyssey, collecting moons, it powered up your ship and enabled you to go to new levels.
Right.
In Donkey Kong Bonanza, getting bananas physically powers you up through your skill tree. Gives you skill tree bonuses that you can more health, stronger, makes your sonar bigger, makes your range of collecting things bigger, extends your Bonanza skill, gives you the double jump.
That's better. That is better. Like for me, like for Odyssey, because of that, since it was purely just collect enough to go to next level and progress, I only ever found the bare minimum and then immediately left.
And most of the time in Odyssey, the level progression would give you enough to get to the next area, pretty much.
Right, because
Like
you would get a
following your way
bunch
through
from
the
like
main
beating the
path.
boss. Like from beating the boss, you get like a whole bushel basically. Because
So, like,
let's not forget
Bushels
that
and
also
loads.
the moons the multi moons that you would get were also just bananas.
Yeah, so when you beat a minor sublayer, you'll get a triple banana. When you beat a major boss, you'll get a 5 banana, which gives you a full skill point. But like the skill tree is like pretty extensive. I just got the ostrich, and there's still multiple.
You get skills for each transformation.
Yeah,
as well, right?
each transformation has its own, but like, so I have two bonanzas unlocked, and there's still, I think, 5 columns that aren't active currently.
Yeah. There's more than they initially showed.
Yeah, of course there are. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
You think they're going to give everything away?
I think there's like an elephant, there's like a snake. I've seen more people post about those, but originally they just showed like the original Kong, the zebra,
goat,
and the ostrich.
Yeah, which are the first 3. Because I just got there's a sublayer called the Divide, which lets you pick between what your next progression path is: the forest realm with the ostrich, or the mountain realm with the goat.
But yeah, is this more platforming or action as well? That's another distinction.
It's more action than platforming. It's not as much intensive like jump here, jump here, jump here. There are still portions where it's like you're gonna have to jump up, crawl across the ceiling, punch some dudes, get over here, throw this thing across to create a bridge. But like Donkey Kong he's not Jumpman. He's not Mario. He does not jump the way Mario does. His jump is relatively small. He climbs on everything. So you can climb pretty much every surface that the game has outside of smooth metal, which allows you to
makes sense.
like navigate your way through.
And those are also like the limits of what you can break through, right? There's
You
like a
can't
base
break metal,
there's like
or
a
at least
base
I can't right
skeleton
now.
of the level that like you can't break through metal and like
Yeah.
and certain layers of bedrock.
Because there's like you can break through concrete if you're Kong Bananza,
Okay.
or if you throw explosives at it.
But there was one kind of level that I had seen to the game that was interested me, that like not only is it just that when you break shit can you find new things and feel like you are quote unquote then breaking the game and doing stuff like that, but like how a level will then transform visually and even kind of thematically from when when you are dropped in to then when you destroy everything. It can go from like being kind of barren looking, almost like a dry riverbed, and then you bust it open and it's like a lush forest underneath or something.
Yeah. There's
That's kinda
also
cool.
like the progression to not be Mario Odyssey. It doesn't have like coins sitting around for you to like run through. It's gold bits that you destroy stuff in the ground that pop out. So I have like 22,000 ounces of gold right now or something like that.
And what does that get used for? Because the coins
you
were
use that-
cosmetics and stuff, right?
You use that to purchase, you don't use it to purchase cosmetics.
I say, yeah,
You-
that's a
You use it
difference.
to purchase, you can buy homes, which allow you to restore health and then give you temporary hearts on top of it, kind of like in Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom. You can use it to buy like balloons, which if you fall off of like certain maps with pitfalls, they'll drop you back without losing health. 500 ounces of gold will be lost if you die, and it'll respawn you. You can, which is how Odyssey handled it with coins. You would lose
Yeah.
coins when you would die.
Yeah.
but then you could pay little rock gremlin dudes in gold to have them like manipulate the level for you, or like put a cannon here or destroy things. Like, I have never found myself in a shortage of gold, and I've been spending it pretty much every chance I get. And then
besides it being Odyssey Square, what about it wouldn't I like? Because I like the idea of the creativity of it, but where I am worried I wouldn't like it is that it's still, as a Nintendo mainstream platformer, that are never story-based games. I feel like I don't have the drive to want to, keep exploring and see things through. And it doesn't hit the highs of an exploration like a game like the Zelda games do, which the story is kind of often few and far between, even though there is an overarching kind of mystery or thing you're trying to uncover. But it was just the, see cool thing, go over the hill and see what's there. And
I mean, the
combat challenges and
the overarching story is generally, well, I want banana.
Yeah.
So give me banana. But it's also that you and Pauline want to get back to the surface.
But just again, okay, so just on like at its base, why do you think I wouldn't like this game?
I think it's just mechanically easy. It's a kid's game. Like I've said, I haven't had any issue with any of but the bosses have all been nice and varied. Like you were just talking about a minecart level. I just had a boss where I had to defeat, I was in a smelting factory and there was a mixer that I had to destroy that was running too fast. So I had to ride around it on a minecart and throw explosives at it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit different, but yeah, that's interesting. People have been like trying to make some comparisons between it and Astrobot, just because they're like kind of the most recent top performing platformers of the.
Because they're both going to be Game of the Year winners.
The past 2 years, and obviously they're they're structured completely differently.
Yeah,
and I don't think that they have like these. They're not clear one-to-ones, but it is kind of worth looking at.
Astro is more directly a platformer than Donkey.
Right, and so I liked Astrobot. Would I say it wasn't my game of the year last year? No, it wasn't. I was very vocal about that, but I still enjoyed it. But what I liked the most about Astrobot, and what made me think of this and want to bring this up, was you're saying, Donkey Kong it's easy. It's too easy. It'd be too easy for you to be engaging. Whereas like Astrobot, the main levels were all the levels you needed to do to progress through the whole thing are all pretty damn easy. But then they have the optional
there are optional
difficult
challenge
challenges.
levels.
So how do they handle the optional content?
There's optional challenge levels that bring you back to like a 2D Donkey Kong Country style play style. There are optional challenge levels where it really engages the mechanic of that specific area. So like I just recently did one where the entire area mechanic is basically if you destroy a purple block, it fills up a blue block, and you just partially destroy the purple block to fill enough of the blue block to be able to get to your next area. And then you do that throughout the level to try to get your way towards the bananas. There's combat challenges where it's just drop in and it'll be like kill 5 crocoids in 30 seconds or, whatever enemy variety it wants to throw at you. There are some where you have to, I did one recently that was essentially, it drops you in, it's like Dig Dug, essentially, where you've got to dig your way through to the bottom and get to the exit.
Yeah, I mean, my desire is that, like, I try, for the end of the year discussion, to try to have played as many of the Game of the Year contenders as possible. And as this sits now, both from a critical and kind of fan point of view, I think it's absolutely going to be in that conversation. I think it's going to be like...
As things sit right now, there are only 4 over 90 Metacritic games this year. Expedition 33 at 93, Blueprints at 92, Split Fiction at 91, and then Donkey Kong at 90.
Damn.
And so I think, which would be one of the next thing I'd want to talk about is Kingdom Come Deliverance. I think is going to be in that discussion, even though it
sits at an 88
slightly,
right now,
slightly lower. Yeah,
which there is a possibility where it gets bumped out just because generally Game Awards tend to fall in the highest Metacritic ratings, and right now it's fighting with Death Stranding, so Kojima's going to get the Kojima bump.
He's going to get the Jeff Lover bump. Yeah,
but there's also still games to come out this year. I still think something like Metroid Prime 4 runs a chance of hitting that 92 to 95 range.
Maybe.
But that game itself has like a lot of baggage with it that I think
It
might
does.
make
It's
it
been
difficult.
in development hell for it.
Yeah.
It had to be
So,
rebooted.
like, it has to be a good game, I think, like a very good game to be up there, and I don't know if it's gonna.
Well, yeah,
have
I don't
that.
think any game gets a over 90 score and is not a good
No,
game.
but I mean, like, better than it would if it was just a fresh. If it didn't have the baggage, it needs to be
My
even
take on
better
Donkey
than that.
Kong is the only reason it's lower. I think Odyssey had a 97 Metacritic when it came out. The only reason it's lower than Mario Odyssey is Mario gets the Mario bump.
Let's be real though. The console warriors like to claim that things like, oh, there's an Xbox tax. When Xbox games come out, they're unfairly criticized. I think that's hokum and schizophrenic nonsense, but I do believe that there is a Nintendo curve. That Nintendo games get graded on a curve. I do think that's
for
true.
sure.
Just because
I mean,
people
generally-
are so driven by nostalgia. These are the characters, the franchises that people really grew up with.
And especially, again, Metroid is different, I think, and especially with that game in particular. But I think that the desire for a Donkey Kong game also gave Donkey Kong a boost.
I think there's something to that, but I also think you're right about Metroid too. Whereas the classic Nintendo catalog, the Marios, the Donkey Kongs, are the Kirbys even are so much more driven by nostalgia because they are the games that people grew up as children, whereas Metroid has always been, from its inception, a more adult game because there's more kind of horror elements to it. So the people who played those when they came out are now, much older, whereas the current kind of critic base is of the age that, would have been playing the Marios, the more kid games. So, they have their nostalgia impacts them in that way. But so my concern, though, is like that I tried to do that back to the whole Game of the Year talk, in that I tried to do that with Mario Wonder, because it did get the nomination. It was super highly reviewed critically and commercially successful, and I tried it and I put it down after like 2 hours. I was just like, I just don't like things. I just don't like
That's
them.
also a pure platformer.
Exactly. So that is a different story. The comparison is not 1-to-1. But in my mind, I'm like, do I get burned again by spending, what is Donkey Kong, $70?
Yeah, regular game price.
Regular game price. How do you square the circle? Is Mario Kart World worth $10 more than Donkey Kong?
I think Mario Kart World has more longevity replayability wise.
That's fair.
Because like Donkey Kong,
A party game always has that.
Yeah.
Once I get all of my bananas, I'll be done with it.
Yeah, and there's always the future promise of DLC, but the fact is then, what do they charge you for the DLC?
I mean,
they do
we
it
pay
like-
for
Yeah.
we pay for the expansion pack. So
Right, but
generally,
that's still
DLCs
not free. That's still not free. That's like, you're always the one to call it out, that when people say free on Game Pass, that's
yeah,
not
but
really
guess
true.
what?
You're
$20
still
a
paying for
year
it.
is a lot less than
Yes,
$16 a month.
Yeah.
I know, I understand, but it's still not free, and not everybody subscribes that way. So, if you were then looking at it, what would the pure base cost of not being a subscriber with any DLC made onto that? Would that
Generally,
make that
Nintendo
then
DLCs
100,
fall in the $10 to
$120?
$20 range, depending.
Yeah,
but
but that
Odyssey
makes it
didn't
100. Makes it
Odyssey
100
didn't get
plus
DLC,
dollars.
so I wouldn't expect Donkey Kong to
No,
get
I
DLC.
wouldn't expect Donkey Kong either. No, I'm talking about
Mario.
Mario Kart. All right, yeah. So I'm like, I have to admit, there are things that intrigue me about this game. There are things that I think would potentially get me over my personal hangups with this style
There's
of
a
game.
perfect blend between Nintenglish of gibberish-speaking creatures and Pauline speaking
and
perfect
Pauline
English.
actually speaks English. Yeah. I have seen it. It does seem like the DK voice actor is having a good time. So that does.
No,
that
I
does
just
get me.
appreciate that every time I like speak to like a major character and they're like, "What are you looking for?" My top choice is always bananas.
Is that what you choose every time?
Yes.
Of course, you got to stay in character. That means it's a role playing game.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing a role.
It's got
Banana
relative
enjoyer.
open world design. It's got a skill tree. It's really closing in on RPG of the year right there.
Like, we want to give you a little bit of time, although you haven't been playing any games.
Well-
which, shame on you.
But
Play
you
more
know,
play more games. You are a video game podcaster. Play video games.
So I'll talk about what I will be playing.
Yeah, but what have you been doing?
Well, I have been working on making us a new jingle with using, speaking of nostalgia, adding some OG, PlayStation, GameCube, Xbox, PlayStation 2 and Xbox sounds incorporated into it. So having fun with
Xbox
that.
sounds.
Yeah, but
I'd say nowhere near as iconic as either the GameCube or the PS2. Like, I don't think if you put people in like a blind study, just here, tell me like which brand is this? Nobody would be able to say that that's Xbox.
But honestly,
we have to be fair. We have to be fair and balanced.
But for the purposes of making a jingle, it's actually useful because the GameCube one is like very perky.
We won't get
type
DMCA'd
sounds.
by Microsoft.
But it's very like perky type sounds because it's like whereas and then like the PlayStation is very like synthy kind of like long lead. Yeah. Xbox just has a lot of different sounds in there, so there's like could be used more throughout and like chopped up, whereas the other ones kind of have like a set purpose. I can't get enough of the GameCube sound. I fucking love it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
You should try to also find the little Easter egg one where it's like if you start up like the GameCube and hold, I think it's like ZL or something.
You spin it.
It squeaks instead.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that when it like does a squeaky sound instead when it does the plink plop plocking sounds.
I reversed the plink plop plopping sounds. It's fucking awesome. It's just so cool. They did a good job with that. Yeah, Xbox is just trash. It's just sounds.
just throw it all together.
Yeah. But like, and it's like, it is very of its time in Xbox. Like, it just reminds me of Halo. Like, honestly, I think if I heard it in a vacuum, I might say it's the Halo startup music.
It sounds like music from Halo.
Yeah, or like like the title screen music from Halo or something.
Just they took the chance out of it.
Yeah, and like also because that's probably what I played most on an Xbox. I never had an original Xbox. It was going over friends' houses playing Halo. Yeah. So like associating that sound. But yeah, it's not iconic at all. And who the fuck knows what the sound is now? Because who has an Xbox?
None of us.
None of us. I was the last holdout, just having one, and it's gone. So, but. All right, so to what Mike is going to play, and I'm going to tie it into my extra pod that we did. I'm going to play Ghost of Tsushima, be a cultured person.
Hell yeah. Awesome game.
And because the new one will be coming out soonish. Yeah, that's soonish at this point.
It's a lot sooner than you think.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another game of the year right there.
Yeah, I'm excited to play that. And play a real Assassin's Creed game.
I'm expecting that to release, and then because I don't know if you remember the conservative backlash when they announced A, that it was a woman character, and B, that it was being voiced by
Erika Ishii.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh my God, she has a shaved side of her head. She's ultra woke.
She's a blue hair pronoun person."
Yeah,
from 2014.
No, I'm excited for that. I think that's going to be good. I'm currently like kind of in a holding pattern I'm waiting to see what reviews for Wu Chang Fallen Feathers.
Yes,
that comes out later this week.
There was a leak
few days after
for it that made it sound pretty good.
I didn't see any of that. All I saw was what you sent, which was the technical specs. Yeah. Which looked really cool for me. I'm always gonna jump on a game that's taking advantage of PS5 Pro stuff to play 4K 60 would be pretty sweet. But yeah,
I think the performance mode was 80.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. They've got 3 modes.
You can play quality at 4K 60. Why would you?
Exactly. Yeah, you can do on the Pro. You can play quality at 60 frames, or you can do balanced at 70, performance at 80. Yeah, on the Pro, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm waiting to see how that. I want to see more actual information about it. And
there was a meme I saw earlier this week where it was I don't know what show it's from, but it's an old dude with a fez, and he's like, "I finally collected them all." And it was Black Myth Wukong, Wolong Falling Dynasty, and then Wu Chang Fallen Feathers.
Yeah. But it's I'm a little hesitant because it's an Unreal Engine game, so that obviously is going to have some technical hurdles to get through, and it's an unproven studio. in an oversaturated market that seems to be doing some, the fact that it is a Chinese studio doing Chinese mythology is what then balances that scale for me. It's an underserved element of the market and of kind of narrative themes. So I'm very interested in that. But then I got to see, like, is it a slog to play through? That's the big thing. How do they execute the gameplay? Is level design engaging? From what I can tell, visually, I think I'm really going to like it, because there are a lot of elements like that I did enjoy in Black Myth Wukong, and that it's not just all dark, dank cellars and dungeons. That stuff does exist, but there are then bright colors and beautiful environments, and so that is something that I will weigh pretty heavily. But I want to see more. But I'm, like, not trying to, like, engage into something really huge right now. One, because I'm waiting for that. But two, because I just finished Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I clocked in my playthrough at 102 hours. And I was a skeptic of the game. People will recall I even wrote a piece about it on the Patreon, which I got to get back to writing stuff. I enjoyed when I was doing that, but I've just had busy, actual, real work writing that has been taking up my bandwidth and will continue at least until the start of September. Yeah, folks, I'm writing a chapter for a book. Isn't that exciting?
You're 104 hours. Yeah.
I went into the game as a skeptic and was uncertain. With, that's kind of been my trend for this week, of been like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to like this. There are these elements that I think I'm really going to clash with, but I ended up really, really loving this game, and I'm still glad I didn't. This sounds bad. I'm glad I didn't play the first game. Mm-hmm. I watched a 13-hour cutscene compilation
in one sitting.
No.
Eyes taped open.
No, I watched it over
he listened to it while he was sleeping, like Dexter did when he was learning French.
I watched it over like a week or something, and I never that was totally sufficient. I never felt lost. I knew who all the returning characters were. I knew the plot of the first game. I knew these. No, I never felt lost. But like I really think the jank of the first game would have put me off from playing the second one, because the second one still has jank to it. Let's be clear there.
Well, it's Euro jank, so it's expected.
Yeah, but it just, like, this level of system design was really, really impressive throughout. I can't say that I had as much of the emergent experiences that I had read about. The actual impactful choices there's really only a handful of them. It is possible to have different outcomes of quest based on your playstyle and your stats, and it's that is the one thing that I will absolutely sing its praises of, is that it is I do enjoy now this style of progression where you level up a stat by using the stat. The more you fight with this weapon, the better you get with the weapon. The more you try to talk your way out of things, the better your speech gets. And that can then interact with other systems, like if you are wearing the right clothes and are making sure that you don't stink and are maybe wearing a perfume or drinking a charisma water potion. Yeah, you will have, better times with those. But I really loved that kind of level of progression, and it really leans into your play style affects the outcome. So that was cool. But, like, I never had, like...
Go ahead.
What? Go ahead. No.
No, finish your thought. I thought you were done.
I had seen some reviews of, like, people being like, oh, I had these, like, crazy kind of emergent experiences where it's like the best part of the game are the stories that you create on your own. And I'm like, I'm going out, I'm going around, I'm seeing quest markers, I'm talking to NPCs, I'm starting quests. Yes, maybe the outcomes of them are shaped by my own input, but, like, I'm not doing anything crazy like that. Nothing amazing like that. The coolest kind of emergent aspect was it actually incentivizes you to fast travel in some situations where you get these random encounters when you fast travel that you are less likely to get when you travel regularly. And those were some of the most interesting kind of unique characters that would pop up. There was this guy who would come up and would just keep giving me riddles. There was the one dude who people have seen in playing the marketing materials who had he has an arrow tip sticking out of his head, and you get that sets you down a quest chain. And so that was cool. and that was Emergent. But it was just like a really immersive experience that was really good. And it was the kind of bittersweet ending of a game where I had put over 100 hours in. I was ready to move on. I was, I was ready to move to something new. But when I finished, it's one of those things, and it's a good piece of fiction when you miss the characters. When you, when you finish a book, you find yourself missing the characters.
Missing your
and
friends.
I feel that way about Henry and Hans and all the new gang that were introduced, the Devils, as they were called. You were asking something.
Well, no, I was going to say something. I have your next holdover game.
Okay, I'm listening.
I had been scrolling through the PlayStation sale,
Okay.
and I know that you're a man that enjoys simulation games to some extent,
To some degree, yeah.
depending on what they are. So on sale right now for $12 is Goat Simulator 3.
Yes, the infamous Goat Simulator. I never really understood what you're simulating in that one. In that, like, I think you're a farmer, but like the goats do crazy things, which goats do crazy things.
Truly.
But it is like an absurd level of things that they get
Just
into.
play Untitled.
You can
Goose
be
Game.
the goat.
Interesting.
It's one of the the first key feature is you can be a goat.
Okay.
3 of your friends can be goats too, and you could join in local or online co-op, which we may have to do.
But who gets to be King Goat and stand on the rock?
You got to fight that out. You got to duke it out. Maybe
you
you,
should play-
as the leader would get it to begin with, but I might knock you off Pride Rock.
If you're waiting for another Chinese studio, you should play another Chinese game in the overlooked AI Limit, which is Chinese anime Souls.
Oh, that one came out at the same time as Kazan did,
Kazan.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like I don't want to play a Souls game to then go play a Souls game.
Coward.
That's why I was giving you Goat Simulator.
Yeah, I'd much rather do something like that. Like, honestly, I was texting the group chat last night. I'm like, I'm tempted to play the Horse Girl game, the Uma Musume Pretty Derby, because that's completely different and completely out there. But I'm just not ready.
That's how you get a disappointed father.
Yeah, I'm not ready to sink my time into a gacha.
You'll be like, Dad, I'm playing a horse game. You'll be like, oh, that's incredible. And then he looks at me, what is this?
What is this?
Here.
Are you winning, son? No.
I got another one for you. You could be a goldfish.
Oh my. What's the point there? Are you
I
the
don't know.
goldfish that what's the YouTuber that I think you actually know the YouTuber?
I don't know who it
he was
is,
like
but I remember.
Or no, he was the Tears of the Kingdom, or he was like a Zelda YouTuber the one who got sued by them for doing for the hack thing
I
for
forget
Zelda.
his name.
And
I know who you're talking about.
His goldfish beat some game. I forget which game it was.
There's been multiple goldfish that have like beaten Pokemon Red and Blue and
maybe that's
things like
what it was.
that.
So yeah, beats.
Yeah, but that's not impressive.
No, not at all. Not at all.
If an American 6-year-old can beat it, then a goldfish can beat it.
It's button mashing at its core. Even the fucking directionals.
The gameplay is literally just press A.
Yeah, even
If
the
you can-
directionals could be button mashing.
If you can do a Twitch plays and have a Twitch collective beat Pokemon Red or Blue, then anyone can beat it.
Yeah, so I think that's I played a couple other things. I'm playing Ace Attorney right now, which I think is something that you might like, Mike. It is
I won't do it.
too much because it's too much reading. It's just reading.
Not only is it too much reading, I'm an attorney all day long. I don't want to play a game and.
But you're playing
Yeah,
it.
but this is a game that makes being attorney more fun.
Yeah, you're
Objection!
You're playing an attorney in Japan, so the legal system is completely different. But it's also you're really a detective. Like 90% of the game is
that's my
you
job
being a
sometimes.
detective.
Is fine. No, I don't. Nope, don't want to do it.
And then play Professor
will.
Layton.
Nope, we'll never play.
But there's
Ace
big
Attorney.
booba anime women.
Send them to me. Take a pic. I ain't playing it. I refuse. All lawyers are bastards. I don't care. They're Japanese. They're American. Anywhere. You're a lawyer. You're a bastard.
Yourself included.
Yeah, 100%.
Born illegitimately.
No, I'm not a bastard that way, but I am a bastard.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about KOTOR.
If you need a filler game, you play Untitled Goose Game, and you unlock the horrors of being a goose upon society.
Another menace of an animal.
I'm not a goose hater. I don't mind geese.
I
People
hate
who
You
get
should play
violent-
it. You get to
I hate
steal a little boy's glasses.
Oh,
you get
yeah.
to set up a rake so that a farmer steps on it and hits himself in the face.
Hell yeah.
You then get
All
to
right.
put the rake in the lake and get an achievement for rake in the lake.
All right, that might be 10 out of 10 game design right there. All right, so we've talked about the games we played, the games we're looking forward to. I was gonna say don't have the only other game I played in the last month was KOTOR, which I had some thoughts of, but it's honestly been a while now that I don't have much to say other than back when BioWare was good. I'm interested to see if the remake ever comes out and what they might do with it, how it might translate to a more action-focused game. It ran really well. The Switch version of the first KOTOR, I can give my thumbs up to. Worked really well, and that was it. I think that's the last thing I played. So who knows what the next month will hold for me?
Goat Simulator 3.
As I've got things that I'm looking for and things that they're now foisting upon me. But we'll be back next week. Should hopefully be all four of us. We will be doing our news roundup for the month of July. And then the week after, for the first week of August, we're going to be talking about Metal Gear Solid 1 as we prep for the imminent release of Metal Gear Solid Delta, the remake of MGS3 Snake Eater.
Eat my snake.
I know Andrew's got his attention looking out for that one. I think he has said in the past that that's the major upcoming game on his radar.
There's another possible Game of the Year contender.
Yeah, maybe. They will nominate remakes every now and again, but
I'm just saying, if that falls into that 92 to 95 range on Metacritic, that pretty much guarantees it a spot.
I mean, and it's also the fact that people are always like, "Oh, the
It's not
uninitiated."
directly Kojima, but it's Kojima enough.
The uninitiated are like, "Why are they starting with remaking 3?" And it's well, it's because for two reasons. Both, one, that it's technically a prequel to the first two, and also it's the best one. It's everybody's favorite, so they're trying to make money.
Yeah, if they started with a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1 that didn't do well, they wouldn't get enough funding to be able to go forward and do 2 and 3. But if they start with 3 and it sells well, that might at least get them enough grace to be able to do 1, have it not sell well, and still finish out with 2.
It's going to be really fun. I said this in our group chat that the injustice that was thrust upon me by Andrew having to play Resident Evil 4 for the podcast, me being a big old bitch who does not like to play scary games, although it really wasn't scary. The justice that I will have upon him is making him play an old game in Metal Gear Solid 1. So he will be suffering through that, as I have suffered.
We should have made it just be the original Metal Gear on NES.
Go play Twin Snakes on the GameCube. All right, that'll do it for us this week. We will be back next week with the news. There has been some news this month, so we will keep you waiting for that one. All right, folks, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.